So, right click and create a spider audio merger and splitter. It's down the bottom there. I'll just stop this for a second while we do this. Right click and create, hold shift and create an M-class equalizer, followed by create, hold shift, create an M-class compressor. By holding shift when you create the items, it stops them from automatically linking to the nearest device, which would be redrum in this case, and we don't want that just yet. Okay, now we've got those. Press tab to look at the back of the rack and drag channels 1 and 2, which are our kick drums, into the audio merger and splitter. Now if we listen, the kick drums from here have been removed and we've only got the kick drum from the loop at the top here, chorus loop, coming through. So if we stop this again and drag the output into the input of the equalizer, output from the spider audio merger, and then from the equalizer into the input of the compressor, and then out of that into a free channel in our line mixer. Now if we play the loop again, you can see the kick drum is coming through in this channel. So now we have control over that kick drum. Sweet. Okay, now we're going to bring out some of the more prominent parts of the sound whilst removing some of the muddier parts. So I'll play it and let's hear how it changes the sound. Hit the low cut to just tidy up the low end. Turn the low shelf frequency to about 80 Hz. If you're struggling to find the frequency, hold shift again, it gives you more control over the parameters. And turn the gain right down. And yeah, turn the shelf up a little bit. That's the width that it affects in this frequency spectrum. It might seem strange to remove the bass from a kick drum, but we only want the higher end of the bass sound for the kick, leaving the lower end, below about 80 Hz, for the bass synth, separating them in the mix. This way the track sounds less muddy and more defined. Okay, param 1 and bring up the frequency around 120 Hz. So if we find that, widen that as well, and I'll just make it a bit punchier. With param 2, bring it up around 2.5 kilohertz. So if we try and find that, and again widen the bandwidth a little bit. Now this is just emphasizing the clicky attack of the kick drum. And lastly, just turn up the high shelf gain a little bit, just to brighten the kicks click a bit more. Okay, so if we compare it with and without this equalizer now, so without it, and with it, without it, definitely an improvement. Okay, now the compressor. Now just turn the threshold to about a little bit over halfway, and the ratio up to full. This basically limits the sound after it is hit so the kick drum isn't too loud. Now we'll do the same thing with the main two snares. Again, right click, create spider audio merger and splitter, and shift create the equalizer, and shift create the compressor. And I'll stop it again and drag channels 3 and 4, because we only want the main two snares. We'll keep this one, in fact, if we move the ghost note snare to a spare track, so we have more control over its volume. Now we move these into the merger, 3 and 4, from the merger to the equalizer, from the equalizer to the compressor, and from the compressor to the mixer. Okay. Now let's have a listen as we change the sound of that snare drum. Okay, again, low cut. This time boost around 250 Hz. Just above where we did for the kick drum. For the punch of the snare. And again around 2.5 Hz. 2.5 kilohertz rather, for the click. Really brings it out there. Yeah, since in drum and bass the snare and kick are generally not played simultaneously, it doesn't matter that we're emphasizing the same frequency range here. I've also taken up the high frequency by a few decibels again. I'm going to turn it on, and that again brightens it a little bit. And cut the low frequency again, just a little bit. 12 decibels I've chosen. So that just tidies up the low end. Okay, for the compressor, take the ratio to infinity and turn the threshold to about 3/4. So just compress it a bit. And now if we compare with and without this equalizer, you can see there's a definite difference there, and that's much punchier now. And there you have it! A drum and bass beat more powerful than Chris Brown's woman beating arm, and crisper than the packet of Walkers. Tune in for day 2, where I'll be turning the drum into drum and bass with the addition of powerful Thor Reese bass synth and the bowel-bursting sub-bass. Until then, have a play and see what settings on your EQ and compressor work for your kick and snare. See you tomorrow!
If you found this tutorial useful, help me out by rating this video or posting a comment so other people can find it. And don't forget to check out my website, boyinaband.com. Have a nice day!